Welcome. Thank you for joining us. You're watching Eye on Harvard, brought to you by InTimeTV. I'm Ogan Gurel. Eye on Harvard broadcasting worldwide, the world affecting Harvardians and Harvardians affecting the world. And today we have a very special show, a very special guest, David Wilhelm, known to many of you. Welcome, David.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. A little bit about your career, and in particular with reference to the 1992 Clinton campaign.
All right.
You're a campaign manager.
Right.
You've seen campaign managers come and go in the current campaigns, and you were obviously Democratic National Committee Chair, and we've seen a lot of controversy around that. How would you compare and contrast what happened in 1992 with what's happening now?
What's happening now? What are the big differences? I would say the fundamental difference between 1992 and today is the role of the internet in campaigns. I think campaigns are fundamentally different, probably on balance better because of the existence of the internet and the role that it plays in politics. And the reason I say that, there are two fundamental reasons for that. One is it has had an enormous, small d, democratizing impact on the way money is raised. Barack Obama, in some ways his candidacy wouldn't even have been possible 16 years ago, because then you raised it, you know, donor by donor. The role of very wealthy donors was paramount at that time. Today he's, I don't know, he's probably approaching 2 million different donors. Small donations matter. You can fuel a campaign that way, and that is good for democracy, and that has fundamentally changed our political system, and I think in a good way. The other way is that I think voters, activists can participate more easily in the political process. You know, prior to the internet, television was the end-all be-all. Recipients of information from television are passive, so you raised money to run ads that were viewed in a passive way by voters. And today, with the internet, I think it is more participatory. People are more engaged. I think that's a good thing. And you see it playing out in the Democratic primary, where you have high level of enthusiasm, high level of additional participation. And I think at the end of the day, that's a very good thing.
And in fact, I think that reflects, to your point, David, the evolution of the internet. Because to some extent, Howard Dean's campaign sort of started that with the internet. But back then it was Web 1.0, if you will. Now we have Web 2.0, and which implies more participatory
the creation of communities,
how should I say, the comments, leaving comments and ratings and Wikipedia and all these sorts of things. And I think you're exactly right. The current campaigns have leveraged that, and I would submit, it looks like Senator Obama has said it especially so.
Yeah, I think that's right. Now, you know, it's not without some downsides. You know,
Tell us about that.
Well, you have anybody can write anything they want and stick it, you know, on a blog, and some of those things have, let's say, varying degrees of truthfulness, and so sometimes that's very difficult to deal with. Also, you know, the kind of thing that we've seen play out with the Reverend Wright issue, you know, where a YouTube video is played over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you kind of lose perspective on maybe some of the a broader delineation of the issue involved. But you know what? I'm going to argue against myself here. For as many people as watched that video, I think even more people watched in its entirety Barack Obama's extensive speech on race that came on the heels of that issue exploding. So I really think when you look at it in totality, or even look at it for a brief period, one has to conclude that the impact of the internet on our political process has been a very, very positive thing.
Sure, I don't want to sound political, but as we know, Donald Rumsfeld said at one point that democracy is messy, and I don't want to make comparisons to chaos in Baghdad, but there are rough edges, if you will, to that participatory process.
Yeah, if you can't stand the heat, don't. What's the saying? If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Stay out of the kitchen. It is messy. Sometimes a little messier than it needs to be, but you know, that's at the end of the day, the more people that participate, the more people that have ready access to information about their candidates, the greater extent to which the conversation is an interactive one rather than one way, we are better off as a society. So
exactly.
Yeah.